Okay, I just wanted to share an update for a project we've been working on in the background. I've been working on some of these systems and different abilities and stats for about a year. Um, I was on project was under a different name, and one of my Google Drives full of like just different game ideas, and this one kind of came up and started to fall in love with the genre. And so we'll kind of dive right into just you'll be able to guess a little bit of what it's about, and I'll show you one of the character classes. This is all rough, like minimal viable product um, assets, so you'll see um, certain characters in art, and none of it's official. It's just for me to visualize and get a concept. Um, and so you'll start to see, I'm not going to show too much of the abilities themselves. Most of them are dummies anyway right now. Um, and you'll hear some of them. Oh, yeah, that one's going off in the background. So we can kind of go away from that and probably start to learn. Maybe can start scaling, really pulling in this XP. Some fire rains going. Yeah, we'll upgrade our fire rains. And that one's just another ability. And then we'll stop getting abilities thrown at us because those are all the abilities I've input. And so I've kind of recently been playing, um, I wouldn't say a lot, maybe 2 or 3 times, but played quite a bit of like Vampire Survivors, um, games like Conquest Arc. That's a great game. If you've not played that and you like this genre, that's a fantastic game. Um, and those are the kind of two. A little bit of Halls of Torment. There's some good things I like about all of them. Conquest Arc is definitely my favorite, and it's the least known one, but I love how challenging it is, and it's fantastic. And the other ones don't, they're fun, but they don't do too much for me in the genre, which controversy there, I guess, or unpopular opinion. So yeah, so we've kind of gone down our own road of developing a bullet heaven. We love programming and working on magic and melee abilities, and we've been wanting to do a project in the gameplay ability system, and more for us, junior developers, being able to showcase a lot of what we're capable of and what we can bring to the table, because jobs are not easy to come by, and we've been running our own studio and developing projects and different ideas, and had people uh, leave projects and leave them in tight spots. So this is something that is for us in our wheelhouse completely. Um, Solving issues around different systems, um, mostly applying a ton of different math and utilizing research into gas. And I mean, I've literally just scratched the itty bitty surface of gas to get this working. And my coworker is currently working a lot on the enemy AI system with spawning and stuff like that. I do most of the designing, and anything that really has to do with UI, I generally handle. He will handle some of the UI stuff and a lot of like back-end stuff into some of the UI if he's feeling froggy enough, but he generally enjoys more of the technical side of things, and UI is not his favorite, and I'm really picky. So I've been handling a lot of the UI with how we handle getting widgets to populate. And so right now we run our player state that holds our ability system component. that holds our passive selection component, our experience currency component, and even this one, this is our own ability system component. I should probably just change the name here, um, but it is what it is for right now. And so um, those three, for the moment being, I'm going to have a few more components that are held in the player state. Um, and this is kind of our flow right now. We have a hub world being the world map, so generally we test completely out of the world map because this is where the player will load into past the start screen. And within here, all their data is initialized for the world map. And when they go in, they'll have, you can see this currencies on the left. This is account currency. So this is account bound. And there'll be a tab and that'll have their current run currency. So certain levels will have certain currencies that are used for upgrading that they can farm. And they're technically still saved to the account. If you happen to pause or get exited out, we're going to work with restoring a state of that. But it is typically like you earn that currency and you try and maximize your efficiency to earn that, and then you can use that currency within the level to buy certain unique upgrades on a per level basis that may, if you're struggling, they can help you out. Or if you just want to feel overpowered or try and move through certain areas faster, you can use those. And then all of these account-based ones are for different types of upgrading and crafting. Um, and then, yeah, we have an attribute menu. This is mostly a debug screen for us that's set up. So as we're working through testing certain things, we can scale attributes and be able to look down and see all of our attributes in the game. There's a lot of them. And so there's a lot of managing and spreadsheets and tables for how things are tying together. And so yeah, I mean, you can see there's some health here, and then we've got some energy, or we call it energies, mana, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't really care, but it's energy in the game. XP, your current run level, um, and then your passive abilities. And then there's a bunch more that's going to get added in, and that will be kind of a big changer for this genre on how exactly you start to work through these different types of levels because it's going to be completely different than how the rest of the games in the genre deal with things like this. One thing you'll notice is I picked up Fire Rains, and since I only have two abilities left in my pool, one of those is Fire Rains 2, and so if you have a current ability, depending on the roll chance with everything is set to 100%. Um, so you have ability and you can upgrade the tier of the ability for that specific run. And that won't include like global scalars. So you'll have global scalars that can increase in abilities, um, damage, or stats. And then within the run, the tier system is completely separate. So then now you can also increase per tier, and the tier will scale the ability at its own rate based on how we want it to scale. So that's another thing is you're not just locking it out, um, and you're not kind of left to uh, make that decision. Like you can still level it up, just like a lot of games allow you to level things up. That's not groundbreaking behavior within a gameplay loop. So, but there's going to be some things that you're gonna really have a hard time at first until you learn the loop and how to read some of the codexes and descriptions um, with working out how some of these systems play with each other. Um, it will be very friendly for the people that just want to uh, try and get through a level and they may fail and then they'll use some global scalars and then they'll just eventually get really powerful through some global scalars and that'll help them get through the first level versus people that will learn how to maximize attributes and builds and synergies and they'll fly through with, within a couple runs of maybe only upgrading a few scalars or maybe completing some challenges and unlocking a new class. So those are some things to look forward to. Um, and so yeah, so we have our passive pool. We identify um, each ability that goes into a pool in its respective ability system, abilities folder. It will then get its ability definition, and that ability definition is what is going to be applied within the UI selection screen, which is a bit different than our ability info. And our ability info um, gets applied elsewhere for um, actually scaling damage and all of that. And so currently I'm working through um, merging some of these things and kind of collapsing certain data together because I tested this whole system uh, on a bare bones, just picking up an actor. It gives you an ability, and then cool, you had your ability. It talked to the UI, and then I built the experience system afterwards, which then I realized, well, now I got to level up and give them abilities, and so I kind of created a wrinkle and work through that. It's a pretty simple fix to pull that different ability data and get things working a bit more closely together. But everything scales properly. Everything's working great. And so the next video that we show, there will be the AI system using the flow fields and damaging and just killing as many enemies as we can, and starting to play around, not with scaling any sort of damage or doing any sort of balancing, but playing around with spawn densities and how certain abilities can handle certain ads, and just making probably a really powerful build, um, and spawning in with that really powerful build and just testing with that and leveling them up. So that's kind of the future to come. By the end of the month is when you'll see the next big update on where things are at, and we're excited to just show what we've kind of been working on in the background. Nothing too crazy, and it should be something fun that you can play with friends and have a good time.